Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages who watches DWE, it is me, your DWE owner and general manager DJ, and I am so glad to say that DWE Day 1 was an absolute hit, and it definitely made DWE skyrocket into big promotions, into big places that now people are starting to talk about it because we had a ton of people join in and a ton of people supporting the show, and I cannot thank you for everything that you have done. And speaking of the supporting stuff, all the fans, all of the workers who did everything to make the show special, I thank you very much for everything that you've done. But I'm not just here to thank the fans, I'm also here to talk about one match and one match only. And that is the main event between Killian Sawyer and Jay Money. And it was an unsanctioned match. And I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to have those two face off. I didn't want those two to try and get personal, but they got personal when Killian Sawyer almost killed Jay Money by almost running him over with a car, and then those two kept attacking each other back and forth. Hell, there was even one point where Killian Sawyer tried to even set Jay Money on fire, but that man just went crazy. And I already said to both of them before the match started that DWE was not going to be accountable for anything that happens to both of them. And while the match was great, it had a big tragedy. As this forward right now, Jay Money had suffered a torn bicep tendon from that match, and he'll be out of action for a few months. But while that does have its negatives, it also has led to some positives. I didn't want to try and do it to him because he's been barking at me ever since, but he did make one good point. He beat the man that's been getting a ton of shots at the DWE title on Thursday. So I decided to grant him one of my own. At the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, Rockstar will defend his DWE World Heavyweight Championship against Killian Sawyer. But there is one negative thing about that match. Killian, if you lose that match right there, then you have to be in the Royal Rumble match and have to start at number 1. And I promise you, that's going to be your one and only punishment. Now, as for everybody else has been doing pretty well. And we have the new shows, DWE Conquest, which will be every Tuesday, and then DWE Evolution, which will happen every Wednesday. And we'll have some new championships on Evolution and some new bright stars coming in, while Conquest will have some of your favorites that continue to perform for all of you. So I hope all of y'all continue to enjoy the work for DWE, and I, along with everyone else, will continue to make it bigger and better for each and every single one of you, because that's the one thing that's important. It's your support. That's the reason why this company still lives. The reason why we still continue off of your thrive. All of your support is what makes DWE more special. So I thank all of you for that, and I thank for the big main event. But it also, like I said, had a big tragedy. So Killian, I hope you keep that promise, because if you lose, then you got to take the ultimate task at being number 1 in the Rumble.